Get my music going again. All right, we're gonna try this. Take two. We're back making money, making friends. We're bringing Erika on. We're gonna talk about hypnotherapy. And I'm gonna sit. I'm sitting. I'm getting comfy over here. Okay, let's see if we can find Erika this time. Let's see if we can get this correct. Let's see. Let's see if she's on. Okay. Time around. Stephen, hello. All right, we're going to get Erika on here. I feel it. Here she is. And
I'm on, but I still can't see you.
You still can't see me?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's so funny.
That is
Yeah.
bizarre. Well, I guess you're just going to have to listen and you're not going to get to see me. But we see it. I think everybody else sees it. So maybe you guys can let me know. Can you see Erika? Because I can see. Can you see both of us, Erika and myself? Let me know if you can see both of us. And I guess, Erika, you're just going to have to listen to me. That is so bizarre.
Yes, I'm not sure, but you know, technology, it's always fun.
I can see both of you. Okay, well, as long as Steven says he can see both of us.
Right,
okay, Erika, I'm so glad to have you here tonight. You are actually, I do a lot of virtual videos, but you are my first on making money, making friends. Not that clear. Is my part clear? Let's see. Is Erika the one that's not clear? We're still getting comments here.
Okay.
Talk to me, people.
Let's see, is it the Wi-Fi? Because maybe, well, no, I have full bars. No,
Oh,
not that clear.
As my dogs bark.
It's okay.
I don't think it was. Okay. We're going to get going. We'll just get going into this. So, Erika, we were connected by actually one of my big followers. So, shout out to Food Poshy, let's see, Food Posh Style, I believe.
Yes.
Say that 10 times fast, right? And he said, you absolutely have to come on my show. You have so much to offer. So tonight, this is going to be great for me because I haven't even really gotten to learn that much. So we're all going to get to learn about what you do at the same time. But I know you've done some amazing things or you would not be on my show. So why don't you start? I mean, I read your bio. I posted your bio. I hope you all got to see what she does. But Erika, why don't you tell us a little bit of how you got going?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes. So what I do, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and I do transformational coaching as well. What got me to this work is actually my daughter.
Okay.
She is now 24 years old. She's gonna graduate university. We didn't even think she's gonna make it through high school. Okay, so she had a lot of issues.
I had one of those.
Well, I can help. Because that's what got me to this work. She was going to therapy and I don't even know what we didn't try since 7th grade. And we were running in circles. Okay, we're running in circles. Sometimes she would even get worse. And I was researching, trying to find a solution. And that's what I found my school. So I decided to study, learn, because I wanted to get to the root. Okay, so I'm solution-based, focus on solution. And when I was learning, okay, when I was studying, I had to present 4 of my issues per month to practice. Yeah, wow. I wasn't prepared for that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought I had a good life. I was fine. I was slapped in the face. Yeah, the universe literally like slapped me hard because 4 issues a month. I started peeling one layer at a time. And the first one that I presented was public speaking. So I would not be here today if I didn't face it. Okay, so it's very fascinating. So it's combining hypnosis. Are you familiar with hypnosis?
I actually am. Yeah.
Have you tried it?
I actually have. Yes, I've done it a few times. There's a woman here in town who does it, and I've worked with her a few times on it.
Very good. Okay, so you're familiar. That's awesome. So it's taking you back. So I combine not just hypnosis. I combine hypnosis to take clients back to their root of the issue. I take them back to 3 scenes. I do investigation work. Okay, I dig really, really deep. I combine intuition while I'm working. Then I combine neuro-linguistic programming. I custom make a recording, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, to upgrade. And then I combine coaching. So practically bridging the subconscious with the conscious mind. And it's been very transformational work, because at first it was just a hypnosis, but then I realized something was missing. And it's like when you combine the two, that's when you really get to the bottom and rewire. So everything comes down to the subconscious. Any issue, whether it's health, relationships, money blocks, right? Public speaking, it comes down to the subconscious. So getting to the root and not band-aid. So my clients are typically people who have been in therapy for a very long time, many years.
And haven't gotten anywhere with it, right?
Exactly. Same thing with my daughter, right? What got me here. But I have been through a lot in life, so it's not just books that I learned through myself. I'm evenly designed spiritually and scientific. So I have a balance of the left brain and the right brain. And so I had autoimmune disease, Hashimoto. I don't know if you're familiar with that, with the thyroid.
Yep.
Okay, so that's practically, it shuts down your metabolism and you gain weight just by looking at air.
Yeah, no, and this is my world of expertise, is the wellness field and everything, how to improve yourself, not just from the outside, but also the inside. So I've really learned a lot about all of this. But my question, I have so many questions for you.
Go for it.
So I understand that your daughter was having all these issues, and you're like me in that way too. I am very much, here's a problem, how do I solve it? What do I need to do? Which is, I guess, how I became Lifestyle Jewels, because I was always with a whole family of kids and dogs and myself, trying to figure out the problem. Okay, I don't like my hair. How do I fix my hair? Or I don't like my body. How do I fix my body? Okay, I don't like the way I feel inside. How do I fix that? So I've literally gone to every single person that's an expert in whatever issue I'm having at that specific time to fix me, or fix my family, or fix my dog. So that's kind of how authentically I became who I am, because I was constantly seeking out getting to the bottom of whatever it was. But my question is, what were you doing at the time, business-wise, work-wise, when your daughters started having all these issues?
So I was a preschool teacher.
Oh.
Okay, I had the 2-year-olds. I loved it a lot. I always felt though there was more that I wanted to do for these kids. And then I was also a nanny. I was also a house manager. So I did a lot. I've got lots of talents and so a lot of things. So when my daughter was having these issues, that was like practically what I was doing. And then I transitioned. And I also, when I started like doing the work and seeing how fast and effective it was, it was just more aligned. I felt to me, it's not work. It's my identity.
Yeah.
It's, so it's like, and I also combine spiritual work too. I also do energy work. It's incredible. So yeah, I teach about energy hygiene. Because
what is energy hygiene?
Energy hygiene is like, so let's start with the basics. Everything is energy, right? Einstein said that. We are all energetic beings. So to give you an example, I have 11-year-old clients texted me earlier. She said, I was feeling sad today. I don't know why. So I walked her through to find the sadness in her body, become familiar with that feeling. Where is it coming from? Is it her sadness, or is she absorbing it from someone else? Because if people don't have awareness, there are a lot of empaths, right? A lot of, especially hypersensitive kids as well. And my daughter is one of them. That's why she was struggling with so many issues. They're taking on all this energy. And this is something common that I dealt with, and also with clients. When there's empaths, they self-sacrifice, they surround themselves with negative energy, so it's like becoming familiar, and people lift you up, or do people bring you down? That's energy,
I think
you know?
that's one of the things that helps when, one of the things about getting older is you realize if you're bad energy and you're not bringing something great to me, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas before, like, you know, in elementary school, middle school, high school, you're so worried about being in the in group or being with the people that everybody else thinks you should be with versus what do I want? Is this working for me? If it's not, I'm out.
Exactly. And my thing is, because I love kids so much, you know, it's like teaching kids the importance of also, you know, about the subconscious, and also bring awareness to mothers, right? Expecting mothers, because, you know, 95 to 99% of our programs come from the subconscious. So knowing how important the subconscious is on a daily basis, you know what I mean? It's like if we got to invest in it and learn everything. And
So,
yeah,
I'm sorry. How did you get after how long of a class or certification or whatever is it to be able to do hypnotherapy and then adding on all the energy work and all of that? I mean, was that just self-taught? How do you come to do that?
So the hypnotherapy, I did most of it online, and then I went and took the live part in London. That was about 10 days. That was just to get certified. And then I had to keep working, you know, studying, taking tests to get to clinical. That took me an extra 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so it depends because there's so many programs out there, you know. And energy work, honestly, I've always been spiritual, awake, and always like working on energy and stuff. It was just more 2020, to be honest. I was going on a spiritual. I'm sorry.
That's a good time to do it. There's nothing else you can do.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
so many people at that time pivoted in their life and
Yes.
kind of dug deep and thought, do I like what I'm doing? Because I have a break right now to stop, wanted or unwanted, and to kind of readjust and do something different.
Exactly. There was a lot of awakening that started, and I'm seeing it more and more also this year, especially at a younger age. Seeing a lot of like the spiritual awakening, more people questioning more, going deeper, you know, self-awareness, and also becoming authentic. So that's what I help people too. You know, authenticity is the highest frequency. And in order to become authentic, knowing who you truly are, you have to go through the shadow. Yeah.
Do you have a lot of, I see you on social media, you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram. Do you get a lot of pushback from people, or people are like, oh, come on, this is so fake? No.
No, because I provide scientific research. When I speak, I'm very, very scientific.
Yep.
So for example, and this is the most fascinating fact that a lot of people are not aware. When I give consultations and I'm talking to people, I tell them, when I take clients back, a lot of clients go back to when they were in their mom's womb. Okay. So fascinating, but sad at the same time. So that means a lot of people who are suffering from depression, anxiety, and all these issues, addictions, have been suffering before they were even born. And they give me this look, right? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
do they not know when they were being hypnotized that was there?
no, so this is like when I'm giving them the information. I get that look, like, how is that possible? I'm like, okay, science. When a mother is pregnant, right? You have kids. The baby's connected to the mom. The baby cannot see, but the baby can hear everything and also can feel everything that's going on, right? Yeah. So if that pregnancy, there's difficulties. So many pregnancies are not planned, or if there's abuse, you know, there's so many situations, right?
Yeah.
The babies are ready before being born, feeling not enough. So not enough, I am not enough is always the root of all the issues I see. So think of like the baby is already feeling unwanted, unworthy, not enough, not loved before even being born.
Yeah.
You know, so it's incredible. It's really, really incredible. And I get to show them that. So we work with emotions. So when I take them back to the scene, so let's say they go back to a scene when they're in their mom's womb, they actually can feel. They go through the same emotions at the time, and then we make the connections. So to me, it's teamwork. I help them understand, because the brain needs to understand.
Yep, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So with your daughter, what was it that she was needing to overcome?
She was struggling. She's ADHD, so am I.
Me too.
ADHD is attention dialed in higher dimension. I actually have a thing where it's like I talk about how I turned into my superpower, ADHD, depression, anxiety, fears. It was just like all these issues, and the school. She's more of like creative. She's an artist, and it's like, the school system is designed more towards the left brain type, the logic, and it's
horrible.
yeah.
It does.
And
It really. I'm sorry. It really makes kids, wherever you are, if you're at school, it really makes you feel like you're not smart. And smart is on so many different levels. It's not just being able to do well on a freaking test.
Exactly. And then that's an amazing point. I bring awareness to parents. Make sure you don't just focus on the homework and all that, but on their feelings on a daily basis.
So your daughter, I just can't even imagine. How old was she by the time you got certified?
When she 2019, let's do the math. She's 24. So how old was she?
Okay,
I know.
okay, she was. I'm like, I don't know. You want me to do the math too? 5, 6 years ago, she's 24. Okay, so like 18, 18.
She had,
Okay, I can't imagine. Like my kids, I have 3 kids.
yeah.
And I can't imagine them being like, okay, honey, so I'm going to hypnotize you now and I'm going to make you better. My kids be like, get out of here.
Oh, no. I know, no, because I teach her everything that I learn. And I'm a lifelong student. Like, I don't watch TV. I'm always studying, learning, because there's always new research, about the brain. And
yeah, I love that. Awesome.
She's, I was like, how it is, like with the mom, of course, it wasn't that as easy, you know what I mean? But she's always listening. And that's something I've learned. It's like lead by example, speak the truth, stay in love, show them love, because they are listening. They just act.
Oh my gosh, they are. Oh my gosh, it's so true. Okay, so that is so funny. Well, my daughter, she called me this morning and she was telling me, and she has a counselor that she works with and she loves, and she's been having this ongoing issue. And she said, well, my counselor said, and I said, I just want to point out that I said the exact same thing. She goes, well, I know, but I'm like, okay, that's all. I just want to prove that. I can't tell you how many times my kids have come back though and said, you were right. And my son will be 23 next month, and he went through depression, anxiety, barely graduated from high school. I didn't know what to do with him. And being the proactive mom, we went on antidepressants. That was terrible. We went to, he was in counseling. It wasn't like I just jumped to the antidepressants either. We did everything, and it was horrible. And I don't know how, just by being there, I guess, and loving him and staying there. I mean, he flipped out of that, graduated from college. He's on his way to incredible things. But I mean, it's scary and horrible. And so many parents give up.
Yeah. It is very sad. That's why I'm so passionate about this, especially, like teaching young kids, because it's sad. I feel bad for them. They're bombarded by everywhere, social media.
And I was just going to say, now with social media, it makes it exponentially harder to protect your children.
Yes. And you should see. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, with bullying and all of that. And, even so maybe a fight between 2 girls, because I have a daughter. I don't know if this happened at all to your daughter, but a normal fight back when we were growing up, a fight between 2 girls pretty much stayed between 2 girls. And then it was just he said, she said, she said, she said. There was now it becomes group text. Everybody's sharing everything. Yes. And the bullying, it becomes exponentially bigger than it ever needed to be. And every word is reshared, and it's terrible.
It is. And what I was going to say, you should see, if you look at the research, the statistics with suicide rates. I mean, I've worked with 6-year-olds, 6-year-old being suicidal. You know, since 2020, it has skyrocketed, which, you know, it's crazy and it's so sad.
Is hypnotherapy covered at all by insurance? Is it all cash pay?
Um, I don't do insurance. There might, you know, be, but no, I don't do insurance. But I do work with different situations, you know, where I provide payments and I work with them. Like I don't charge extra because it's like I want to help as many people as possible, you know, especially when it comes to kids. But I help all kinds of issues, not physical. So I work with cancer clients,
Wow.
you know, the ones.
Tell me how you can help a cancer client.
Oh,
Have you seen people eliminate their cancers?
yeah, well, one of the cases was my dad, actually. I took a whole year off to focus on his case. He's older. He was diagnosed with liver cancer, and they didn't give him anything. And practically just waiting and to kind of like focus on his what you know he's dealing with, but not a cure, right? Like no solution.
Yeah.
So of course I jump in. I'm like, okay,
Let's do this.
let's do this. And this is another important information, right? It always comes down to two factors when there's an issue. Anything, it comes down to the environmental and the emotional. So liver is always resentment, anger, you know, just like emotions have to go somewhere. And when you look at autoimmune disease, like, so when I was diagnosed with autoimmune with the thyroid is because, and I was hypnotized for it because I wasn't speaking up at the time I was married. And
I went through that. Okay.
so being passive, coming, you know, I'm from Malta, an island girl, moving to Philly. And I was just like a yes person, passive, right? I didn't have boundaries and speaking my truth. Well, guess what? I burned my thyroid. All the emotions, they're going to go. Exactly. The same thing.
Is that a real thing? So is that, because there is a lot of, so many women have thyroid issues and Hashimoto's. I can't even tell you how many.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know.
I have a funny story with that. Because I'm into holistic. I'm scientific and medicine is important, but I also sometimes it's overdoing it, you know. So when I was diagnosed, and this was the best doctor in Philly that I went to, he wanted me to go on medicine for the rest of my life, and I said no.
Doctors, right? You go to the doctor, and what do? They put you on a pill.
Exactly. And I said no. And he's like, well, I'm going to give you 2 months. So I told him, I'm going to give you 2 months.
And then I'm going to switch. Okay, so what happened?
So I dove deep. I got to the roots. Okay, I did the emotional work. It wasn't easy, but faced it. Then I did lifestyle change. I cut sugar. I cut gluten. So I've been sugar-free since 2016. I started working out. I started taking certain supplements, doing certain things to speed up my metabolism. It's been a journey. But I went from a size like XL to small. You know, I was overweight because of it. Wow. With no medicine. And then when I went back, I mean, this didn't happen in 2 months, but I started improving right away. When I went back, he did the blood work and he looked at me, he goes, "You're good." He didn't even ask. He said, "You're good."
Doctors are so dry sometimes. They just, I don't know. I mean, this is the thing, is that, and no offense to doctors, and I wanted to be a doctor, but what I've learned, because I'm obsessed with doctors, because you can talk about doctor stuff, medicine, all day long. I just love it. It's authentically me.
Yeah.
But what I realized is doctors only know what they've been taught.
Exactly.
And that's it. And so when you ask a doctor anything that's outside of the scope of what they've learned, they don't know. They just don't know, right? You're asking a cardiologist about how to lose weight. That's not what he does. He cuts open bodies and fixes hearts, and that's it. He has no idea how to weight. Most of the surgeons, most cardiologists, most doctors are overweight. They don't have a freaking clue. But that's on us to realize. We have to be our own advocate for ourselves and have this, and that's where you really do have to go do your own research. Do you believe it, or are you just going to listen to somebody telling you that that's what it is?
Exactly. Yes, and the same thing with my dad, you know. It was like, it was challenging. It was challenging because you're very old school.
Oh gosh, my parents wouldn't listen to me to save my life. They'd be like, I still, to this point, I'm like, my mom just had back surgery and I'm trying to get her to do some different things. And she's like, the doctor said.
Exactly.
Okay, so what happened with your dad?
Yes, so I said, look, they're not giving you anything. So at least try this, you know, everything is holistic. So I changed his diet, the whole diet completely changed. It wasn't easy. Especially, think of Malta, which is near Italy, when it comes to the bread and the pasta. Those were the most.
But I have a question for you, because everybody says to me, I went to Europe and I didn't gain any weight because the bread is so pure and the pasta is so fresh and there's no preservatives and there's no, you know, so you can eat more and you won't get. That's not true. Partly.
Yeah, I mean, they do have healthier diet for sure. The Mediterranean is much healthier, but there's more walking. Like I walk everywhere there, you know what I mean? And it's more active. And so it's, definitely there's certain chemicals that are good here, but not approved over there, you know, certain additives. And also the lifestyle, you know, you've got the sea and the sun and yes.
Just too much. Bottom line. Too much is too much, bottom line. If you eat too much bread, if you eat too much pasta, you're going to get
exactly. Yeah. But so my approach when I'm working either with cancer, autoimmune, or weight issues, because this is what I did for myself. I don't want to feel deprived. So my approach is to find a healthier solution. So if he likes pasta, I substituted with lentil pasta. It can be lentil, you know, and I taught him how to make his own bread and his own treats. So he loves cooking. So he's always creating in the kitchen, and I incorporated grounding. So that's grounding is huge.
I love that.
With energy hygiene, being in the sun, and he's good. He's got energy. He's stable, and so far so good.
What does his cancer look like? It's still there. It's just not progressing.
It's stabilized, and So I mean, to be honest, the testings over there are a little bit different than here because we're talking about social medicine, so it's a little bit different system. But yeah, he's definitely. He wouldn't have been able to.
Well, and the thing is, I think most people, by the end of your life, at some point, you will probably have cancer, but it's about how quickly that cancer moves, if you can keep it at bay, you know, so that's really kind of what you're talking about at this point. He could live a lot. What's that?
His symptoms are good. Everything is stable. So he goes to the hospitals for like testings and all that, and everything is good. Everything is stable. I got him on certain supplements, and so he got to see. He got to see for himself, so he's really sticking.
He's sold. And also, how old is your father?
73.
Okay, he's got a lot. He's got a long life yet to live.
Yeah. No, it's been an amazing journey. It's been incredible. Yeah, he's sold because he got to see that because I was tracking his symptoms, right, and he got to see improvements, and even with supplements, like whoa, okay, I'm a believer.
And look at quality of life too, because how many people would say, okay, sign me up, I'll do cancer, I'll do chemo, I'll do radiation, and they're so sick, and the cancer almost weakens them to their death versus the cancer itself.
Exactly.
So even if I have no idea, right? But even if he winds up not living as long, he will have lived quality of life until that point.
Totally. Yes, absolutely. So I'm grateful I'm very, very grateful that I was able to help and show him and teaching them, that's like you gotta be your own doctors because it is what it is. It's like, like you
So
said. So.
it sounds like you opened up this can of worms that once you opened it up, they kept coming out, right? There's more and more and more that you keep doing. So what's next for you? What are you learning about now in terms of, I mean, is there more that's happening that you feel like you can help people even more at this point?
Oh yeah. So really actually I'm working on organizing my first retreat. It's gonna be
Ooh,
in Malta. Yes, because
I
a
had a
lot of
feeling.
people was like, I'm sorry.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. Of course, you have to do it in
Really?
Malta. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many beautiful spots. It's super. Are you familiar with Malta at all?
No, but I just went to Italy. We spent 2 weeks in Italy last year, and I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. You have to make it there. It's only it's like an hour flight. It's 60 miles away from Sicily.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like really close. Yes. There's so many spots, in Malta. There's so many temples. It's incredible. There's lots of history. Uh, it's really, really beautiful. So I'm excited. So that's my next thing that I'm working on right now because of people, clients I work with them, they want to work with me in person. Because right now I'm doing it on Zoom. So right now I work remotely.
Which, okay, so when I first met the woman that I did my hypnotherapy with, I went to her office and we did it together there. And then once COVID hit, she started doing it all through Zoom. And so I got to experience it that way. And I actually liked it much better that
Yeah.
way because part of hypnotherapy is you really have to be like in this comfortable zone where you feel really safe, you feel really
Yeah.
secure. And
Yeah.
when I did it in her office, it wasn't my belongings. It wasn't, you don't, it's a little anxiety producing sitting in somebody's chair in an office
Yeah.
trying to get comfortable versus the second time I did it or third or fourth, whatever, I had done it a few times. That I sat in my bed with my blankie,
Yes,
all
exactly.
cozy, right?
Yes.
And so I found that to be actually much more comforting. I could see after somebody really knows you and trusts you, like to be in the same room with you could be really magical to like feel your energy. But I have to say, I actually, because I was like, well, how is this going to work if I'm like on my computer half asleep? How's that? But I did like it much better.
That's awesome. Yes, absolutely. And I do get that question all the time. It's like, is this gonna work? I'm like, yes, absolutely. It's the same. I've done it in person. There's some situations that I can do it in person, of course, but it's as effective. So it's incredible. It's like really incredible work.
How many
Yeah.
people are you going to get together for this retreat?
For this retreat, I'm not sure yet because I'm at the beginning of the
Planning.
planning. I'm looking at the right spot. So that's what I'm comparing right now. It's my first one, so I'm like, okay.
That is a huge undertaking. I'm not going to lie.
I I love planning, party planning. So I've got that planning in me, very, very creative. So I would like to combine, and also
Yeah, go ahead.
you also want to make it a mix, like show people these sacred spots in Malta. So show Malta and Gozo, which is the second island, and then also have classes, teaching them about the subconscious and energy hygiene. And I also teach about relationships, the feminine versus the masculine energy.
Ooh, that,
I
that's
touch, I
great conversation. That's great conversation.
Yes. Yeah. So I touch it, I call them the four main pillars of life, so it's health, our body, relationships, life purpose. So that's another huge one. A lot of people are, they might be doing careers, they're successful, but they're not aligned. They're not doing what their heart truly desires, what they came here for. So I help them finding their life purpose. I do also utilize tools like astrology and human design. When I do coaching, I'm always learning. I'm always researching, and it's like, okay,
The sponge. Okay, well, by the way, so I texted you, I guess, at 11:11. You said you texted me at 11:11 with the star emoji, star smiley face emoji. And I was like, so is that, I guess that's good. What does that mean?
So the universe speaks in numbers and symbols.
Okay.
And whenever it's alignment, it could, so it all depends what, start paying attention. You're gonna see this. You text me so many synchronicities. Whatever you're thinking or whatever you're saying, wherever, pay attention and you'll see 1111, 222, 333. They're angel numbers. It's like the universe is sending you a message. And intuitively, you start getting messages through the energy.
Okay, what about seeing my birthday numbers? Is that a thing?
Yes, it's a thing.
So
Yes, absolutely.
what does that mean? Because
So
I
it's
see my
like,
birthday numbers all the time.
yes, and I hear this all the time. So for you, it's your birthday numbers. That's the universe giving you a message. So next time you see them, pay attention of what you're thinking. Pay attention of your thoughts and feelings, and start taking notes. My notes, like, okay, what was I thinking? It's confirmations, it's synchronicities, it's alignment. So it all depends what you're thinking, what you're doing at the time. But it's like confirmation. Like, the universe is speaking to you through
In a
numbers.
good way. In a good way? It's always
Yeah,
a good way, or is it like
just pay attention. Pay attention. So it depends what's going on. It's always like go inward, connect with your intuition. And that's another thing, by the way, that I do. A lot of clients, when I take them back, intuition is huge right now. So intuition is your inner compass, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of people feel lost or stuck. When I take them back, it's because they got disconnected with their compass, inner compass, and they cannot trust their intuition. It's huge. So I help them reconnect.
Well, especially if you're in, like I was in such a controlling marriage for so long that whatever thoughts I had about anything didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So then then you would disconnect, you would turn that off.
Exactly. And you become conditioned. So that's an area also with human design that I utilize. Are you familiar with human design?
Yes.
What type are you?
I haven't done my type.
I have to look at your chart.
Oh, no.
Yes, I mean, I use it as a tool. So it's not like, even astrology, I study certain parts as guidance,
Sure.
not to put myself or others in a box, but it's
not
more.
It's not the be all end all, but it does give you, I guess, some clues, right?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. You know the saying, millionaires don't use astrologer, the billionaires do.
Love that.
That's why, because we get affected. You know how like people get affected during a full moon,
Yeah. Okay, and even what about like, oh well, I guess that doesn't really mean anything. Cleansing, when you cleanse, you want to cleanse at the full moon, but I guess that's because like parasites wake up. That's kind of gross, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Parasites wake up during a full moon, and so you can catch them.
Oof.
Gross. Okay. What are you talking about when you talk about hygiene?
Yeah. Energy hygiene?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know how we're taught since we're little, basic hygiene, right? Take a shower, brush your teeth. Well, if we are energetic beings, I teach the importance of energy. So how do you keep your energy at a certain level and not dropping? So everything is frequency. Okay.
Yep.
So, and this is what I practice every single day, and that's why this is not work to me. It's who I am. I spend 99% of my time by myself, and I'm super invested in this to show up the best version of myself for my clients every single day.
Right.
I have to make sure my cup is on overflow. My energy is overflowing, not full.
Yep.
Okay. So what do I do to keep my energy high, my energy clean? I'm mindful who I surround myself with, which we already talked about that. I have the practices, right? Like grounding, meditation, affirmations. Like I go to sleep, just see me going to sleep, I have all the subconscious affirmations going on, all these programs.
It's a really, really good idea for everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And waking up. First thing when I wake up, I have my morning affirmations going on. And
Well,
then
they've always said if you say, your top 5, affirmations, and it could be as little as I'm thankful for having a bed. I'm thankful for, even if when your life is a complete shit, you have a roof over your head, you have a bed, you have a car, whatever, even if it's just materialistic things at that point, emotionally you're tapped out, just recognize those small things, which are huge things.
Yeah. So attitude of gratitude, right? And it shifts you. And it's funny that you talk about that, but not too long ago, I went through where I lost everything because I overgave. And again, that's part of the energy hygiene that I teach. So I had to learn it on my own through the hard way. I overgave, right? So when someone, empath, is overgiving, money is energy, right? So it's like it's more coming out. Right. So
I've had to really slow that down. I've really had to stop and say, do I want to do this? Because if I don't, I'm going to say no.
Yeah. And that's part of it. I learned the hard way. I lost everything. There was a time where I was like homeless and no food. And I saw it as a spiritual boot camp. I saw it as like, okay, this is happening for me. And that's another thing I teach. If you take everything, every hardship, just like think of, I don't know where I'm going to sleep tonight. I went through that period of time as this is happening for me. What do I need to learn? So I learned I had leaks in my energy, right? I'm overgiving, oversharing, and just sharing my energy with just random people. Not everybody gets to be in your energy. If you see that your energy is your biggest asset, right, and you treat it like that, then it's a shift. So I've learned during that period of time, it was hard. It was very hard.
Yeah.
But I also learned that I lost everything materialistic, but I had faith. And that taught me the true meaning of abundance. So that was huge.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is definitely a big learning lesson. Well, I love that all of these things are so important and so helpful in life, because we do become, I think everybody can at some point or another becomes very complacent. And yesterday I actually had on my matchmaker, and he's a love coach. And in relationships, we were talking about, gosh, I think people could really benefit from talking to you on that aspect as well. Because we've grown into a society that everything is, you can obtain it quickly, you can throw it away quickly. Things don't have as much meaning as they used to. And so you start dating somebody, and there's, you're in the total honeymoon phase, and that ends, as it will in any relationship. So as soon as it gets boring, quote unquote, you're like, meh, I'll throw that out, start fresh. And you start not seeing what you have, and you start looking at, I don't know, it becomes numb, and you just don't find joy in the little things anymore.
Yes, absolutely. And actually that goes hand in hand with the energy hygiene that we were talking about, because it's bringing awareness who you're exchanging energy with. And the highest form of energy exchange is through sex. So knowing that, like when two people are having sex, they're exchanging energies, and they don't realize they're taking on each other's energies, plus if there are other partners in the picture.
Wow.
Don't bring this awareness.
And if you're an empath, that's times 100.
Exactly. And then people don't realize where they're depressed and anxiety and have these fears. They're taking on the other person. So bringing awareness, listen, energy is your biggest asset. Invest in it wisely. Not everybody gets access to that. That's your highest value. It's like you got a value, take care of it.
So when you see somebody, how many times do you see them? I mean, is it a one and done? Can you help people with, stopping smoking and
Oh, yeah.
weight loss
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff?
Yes. Yes. So I offer two types of packages at the moment. So I have the 21 days and the 6-week transformational package. So yes, I help people with any addiction, smoking, weight, depression, relationships,
And
money block.
would you help people with, let's say, putting them on along with your hypnotherapy package? And I want to talk a little bit about this package, but so they're doing, would you discourage or do you encourage, yes, get on Ozempic and let's do this at the same time so that we're, helping your energy and your habits, your bad habits, so you get that straightened away, and also your,
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't discuss medicine because I'm not a doctor.
Right.
So I keep it holistic. I recommend supplements that I personally use.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'd never recommend anything that I haven't researched and tested.
I love that. Fair enough on that. But if somebody came to you and they were already on Ozempic, that's fine. You don't care.
It's fine. And I always come with a disclaimer. So like, for example, with depression, right? If I provide a form, like a doctor's form. If they are taking medicine,
Right.
no, yes, I'm not authorized to say you gotta get off or you gotta not. But I have had clients where they decided to get off.
Because they felt better, because you helped them get through the step that was, and I love that, because I did learn, I was on an antidepressant one time in my life, and through everything, I guess through all my counseling, I was doing everything. I realized though, wow, I'm not a depressed person. My situation's depressing. And when you realize that, you can work out of that, so there's a difference between that's one thing I don't think people talk enough about, is just seasonal depression or situational depression, where something can happen in your life that's truly catastrophic to you and just takes you to your knees. But that doesn't necessarily mean you need to be drugged. Maybe you do need to be hypnotized and work through whatever you're going through, or maybe you need to be hypnotized to realize you need to move out of whatever situation you're in.
Exactly.
Whether it's switching jobs, moving states, getting divorced, right?
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Well, it's getting to the root. That's what we need to do. Getting to the root. But like you said, depression is not feeling enough.
Rosie. Sorry, my dog.
Okay. Depression is not always the root of depression. I always find it's not feeling enough and not following your heart desire. It's like, so it's like, get to the root. Then the NLP, the recording that I create, I would say, okay, do you remember the Atari computer?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
Well, I'm that old. Yep.
So, same here. So how I explain it to people that they understand is like, think about, you acquired these programs when you were 2-year-old, 5-year-old, 9 months old, and you are in the MacBook era and still operating with an Atari hard drive, an Atari system. Okay. So we gotta get to the root, identify, take the Atari apart. It's old, it's not benefit you anymore. Now let's give you an upgrade. Let's give you a MacBook hard drive.
2025 MacBook, not your 1980 Atari.
Exactly. And that's where the neuro-linguistic program recording, it's phenomenal. I actually love creating that. It's personalized, it's all positive, and it's an upgrade. They have to commit to listen to it twice a day for 21 days minimum.
How long is it?
It's about 15-20 minutes.
Okay, twice a day.
Twice a day. So before they go to bed and fall asleep with it, because of the frequency, right? That's where we connect with the subconscious, because the subconscious doesn't sleep. The conscious mind is sleeping, but the subconscious isn't. So while you're falling asleep, you listen to the recording, it's upgrading your subconscious. And first thing in the morning, you start listening to it, and it's setting you up for success for that day.
Talking? Is it music?
It's so it's me taking you down to the steps, and giving you the upgrades. And there's music in the
So
background. Yeah, super peaceful.
it's kind of like a meditation then.
Yes.
Like a 15-minute.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, I had another question for you.
Sure.
Let me. It keeps coming to my mind, and then we start talking about something else, and it's gonna kill me now if I can't think of it. Ah, what was it? Okay,
Yes.
so so your two packages.
Yes.
So I love that you're doing the you're going for the hypnotherapy, then you're also doing the coaching. So how many hypnotherapy sessions is it? How many coaching sessions? How does that work?
Okay, so it's one hypnotherapy session, which is about 2 to 3 hours, and I get deep and to the root.
Yep.
Then I create the neurolinguistic program, which is the personalized meditation, and then so the 21-day program, I do daily check-ins through text, make accountability, making sure they're listening to the recording, and they have to commit to it too in order to work. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the good news too is that there's a buy-in, right? They have to pay for this, and so I think
absolutely,
when you commit to doing this 21 days, you're not gonna. I would think most people aren't gonna hand over that money without really feeling like, okay, I'm ready for this.
Exactly.
Do you find that most people, by the time they get to you, they're ready? They need to be right. I always say that it's time, money, and also that pain point, right? And so all three of those things have to align before anybody does anything. You have to hit that pain point, you have to have the time to do it, and you have to have the money to do it. And if all those three things align, then boom. So that pain point, probably when they call you, is there.
Oh yes, absolutely. They feel defeated. And I always take notes how they're feeling before, but from 0 to 10, 10 being the worst, and the feelings they're experiencing. It is amazing. After 2 to 3 hours, always, they start with like an 8, 7, 8 pain point, and then they drop into like 3 in just 2 to 3 hours. That's not even to the recording part yet.
That's amazing.
Okay. And then they start listening to the recording and they start feeling better because they're getting the upgrade. I check in every day. So I was saying I check in for every single day. How you doing? What's going on? Because I'm making sure that everything, is going well. And then I provide 1 hour coaching call in that 21 days. Now the 6 weeks is more, the transformational package is more so that's typically if someone has one issue that they want to work on. So let's say quitting smoking, insomnia. The 6 week is more holistic. So we work on multiple areas, whether it's body. So we're working on health issue.
Health issue.
Weight, if we're working on relationships, if we're working on career, that includes daily coaching. And it's unlimited and it's done through WhatsApp via voice messaging. So we become best buddies, right? I'm like in their pocket every single day.
And helping them be their cheerleader to get them where they want to go. Okay,
yes,
I finally remembered. So before I forget, my brain fog. Grounding, you talk about grounding. Is it grounding outside standing on grass, or are you using a grounding mat? What do you recommend? What would be just to anybody that's listening right now about grounding?
Yes, super important. And again, there's a lot of scientific research about this, right? So you go outside, it's effective on soil, grass, cement, sand, if you're near the beach. Now, I understand because I used to live in PA, and in winter it gets tricky, which is one of the reasons why I left.
Where are you now?
So right now I'm in between Florida and Malta. So I visit because all my family's there. By the way, my daughter that's where she's graduating, and she went to school in Malta. So yeah, so always I have to be in warmer climates and near water, also because of the work I'm doing to keep my energy always overflow. Yeah. There are, I do have recommendations with grounding sheets, and so they do assist. I also say, even if you go outside and with your hands when it's like really cold and you can't do it with your feet, but just being in nature I say, if you're feeling sad, you have health issues, go ground. Go be with the earth because of the earth's electromagnetic field. You know, you're releasing your negative and you're absorbing the positive. It's yeah. Oh, I'm grounding every single day. Most of the day, I walk bare feet outside,
Well,
and
Florida, you can do that. In Arizona, you can kind of
yeah.
do that too. When it gets to be 120, but you know, details might burn your little tootsies off. But okay, where can they find you? How can they book you? Do you do like set up a call to see if it's a fit?
Yeah, so I provide a 20 minutes Zoom consultation, and they can go on my website on otrhypnotherapy.com. And so yeah, so that's where we start is the consultation, and it's free, 20 minutes, and then we can see if it's the right fit, and we go from there.
What does OTR stand for?
Over the rainbow, because that came to me intuitively, Julie. Literally, I put it out there. I'm like, what should I name my business? And I let it go. Okay, just let it go. And then one night I'm cooking, so I'm in my creative flow, and I hear the song Over the Rainbow singing. I knew it. I'm like, this is what I need to name my business, because I take people over the rainbow, you know, because literally there's the gold over there. I know. I've been there. I've been where they are. I've been through all these issues myself. And I got the formula. I can help you, you know? So it's like, come over. Let's cross. I'm the bridge.
And I think it's great for people to be able to feel like, you know what, when you feel like you're really at your lowest, there is more that you can do.
Absolutely.
Get to the root. Hashtag get to the root.
Hashtag get to the root. Exactly.
And Erica's going to help you do that. That is so awesome.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, I can't believe that an hour already went by. I feel like we need to have you on again. You're so awesome. Your energy is amazing. You guys all need to follow Erika Anastasia. Is that how I say your last name?
Anastasia, yes,
And,
that's good.
Definitely follow her on Instagram, also on TikTok. Connect with her if you're having any issues. You know, you can't depend on a doctor to fix you. You have to really help yourself, and really Erika is just that tool that's going to help you get there. So it's not like it's not a quick fix, but
No.
she's got the tools and she's going to show you how to help yourself is basically what it is.
Absolutely.
This is
yeah.
not, and I just, for so many people out there that think it's just woo woo, like
yeah, no.
Even my boyfriend was like, oh, a hypnotherapist. Do you believe that? And I go, actually, yes, I do. Because it's not trying to walk around quacking like a chicken. That's not what that is. Right? It got such a bad name with that.
I get that all the time.
Right.
All the time. That's the first thing actually I start my consultation with. Are you familiar? Because if you're not, forget about what you see on TV. I don't. That's the first thing they taught us at school. If that was the case, Julie, I would walk around. I'd be retired and just ask people to.
Yeah, right. Give me $20. I'm going to hypnotize you to give me $20. And can you run into that store and steal everything in there and bring it out to me, please? Thank you.
Exactly. Yes, it's the media, you know, entertainment. So the people have that idea, but it's not. Yeah. You don't even know. Yeah. So it's like.
But hey, you know what? It's worth trying. So for those of you out here who, if you're not feeling like you're where you want to be, how about try something different? And Erika's here to help you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yay. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you.
Okay, bye.